Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, if I had doubts about who's guilty or who is the perpetrator in Zaporozhye nuclear power plant and who's shelling the plant, right now those doubts evaporated. Why? Because of this statement from this person. And you wouldn't believe what this guy is thinking. And he's saying it out loud. This article comes from The Insider by Jake Epstein and John Haltingvanger, September 7, 2022. Ukraine's military chief says, quote-unquote, limited nuclear war with Russia can't be ruled out, warning it could rise the prospect of World War III. So Ukraine's military chief says limited nuclear war with Russia can't be ruled out. What do you mean? Let's see. In an op-ed, they wrote that a nuclear conflict raises the possibility of World War III. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has shown it neglects the concept of global nuclear security, the officials wrote. Ukraine's top military officials warned on Wednesday that a limited nuclear war with Russia, which could potentially trigger World War III, can't be ruled out as fighting continues. General Valery Zaluzny, the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and Lieutenant General Mikhailo Zabrodsky, who serves as the first deputy chair of the Ukrainian Parliament's National Security Defense and Intelligence Committee, shared their thoughts on the 6-month-long conflict. And he says the duo wrote that one factor worth considering in Russia's approach to the war is the underlying threat of tactical nuclear weapons usage, arguing that Russia's unprovoked invasion has shown that it neglects the concept of global nuclear security, as has been demonstrated by its actions at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant and around Chernobyl. I didn't demonstrate anything to me yet. Boys, I don't know what you're talking about. You say that the Russians are responsible for what? What exactly you already proved? Did you prove that the Russians are the ones shelling themselves in Zaporozhye? Oh, that's what I am required to believe, right? That the Russians who control the nuclear power plant, they somehow shoot themselves, right? Is that what it is? Or they get shot at by someone else, which is you. Oh, you don't like that they are over there? Well then, shoot at them. But then don't shirk away from responsibility saying the Russians are shelling. No, you are shelling. If they shell from there, they still don't endanger unless you shoot back. And you can say, wait, shouldn't you retaliate? Well, then call it as it is. Who shoots at the power plant? Ukrainians. Done. What am I just saying? What else? The Russians should move because you say so. Okay, then the Russians move, you move in, and then the Russians are going to start shooting. And then you will do the same thing the Russians did. You will move away, the Russians are coming, and then you're going to do. Right? Or maybe we let the Americans come and the Canadians to take over and keep it in peace and quiet. Keep dreaming about this option. So, they already found out who's guilty here. And I'm quoting, "It is hard to imagine that even nuclear strikes will allow Russia to break Ukraine's will to resist." Zaluzny and Zabrodsky wrote, "But the threat that will emerge for the whole of Europe cannot be ignored." You know what's going to happen, Zaluzny and Zabrodsky? It's going to be like this. There are going to be some flying cows. Their color is purple. They will land here, and after they land here, they're going to ooze some positive energy. We'll get all of us drunk with that energy, and we'll start loving one another. Men and men, woman and woman, men and woman, trans and bans and compound. Okay? This is my scenario. As cuckoo as your scenario. Why your scenario should be more valid than mine. How do you bring me the evidence that you can support your claim that would say, yes, man, that's the risk that the Russians will hit the European Union? Tell me what's that risk? Because they punch you in the face? Because your masters allowed you to do what you did in 2014, 15, 16, 17, until 2022? Where are the Minsk agreements? 1 and 2. Where are they? Hello? So, this kind of scenarios, far-fetched scenarios, like you investigate a crime and you go to the most nuttiest scenario that you can think of. Alternative hypothesis like crazy, and say, oh yeah, ignore anything else, just take that one. What? That's not how you do. You start with the most obvious, and then with another one after you eliminate them one by one, and you might go to the most nuttiest after you eliminated the most obvious. That's why when you go with your wife, I'm talking about men, in a vacation, and something happens, you are the prime suspect. It's not your grandma who's somewhere 3,000 away from where you and your wife were. This guy wants us to think like that. It's your grandma. Must be. Might be. Yeah. Okay. Warmongering here. But what can you do? All right. They cautioned that the possibility of direct involvement of the world's leading powers in a limited nuclear conflict, bringing close the prospect of a World War III, cannot be completely ruled out either. It's true. You can't completely, but you can 99.9. So you're going to discuss the, 0.1? Is that what you're going to discuss? Anyway, the two officials said the potential use of tactical nuclear weapons means Russia would no longer be a threat to just Ukraine and a handful of European countries, but it would become a global scare terrorist state. These guys are talking about scenarios without any evidence. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. But anyway, given the potential desperation of President Putin and the Russian leadership, given the setbacks, what are you talking about desperation? Provide me the evidence that they are desperate. How did you figure that out? They're desperate. Tell me. Because you say so? And it says, given the setbacks they've faced so far, they're winning so far. They got 1/5 of your country. So what's the setback? Who's a setback? Oh, it doesn't go as probably they guessed or they planned. Possibly. But so far they're winning. So what are you talking about desperation? You should be desperate because they took 1/5 of your country. So you should be more desperate. So maybe you should look for some those kinds of weapons that you're talking about. And you might use them locally. Know what I mean? Limited. Really. Given the setbacks that they faced so far, militarily none of us can take lightly the threat posed by a potential resort to tactical nuclear weapons or low-yield nuclear weapons. CIA Director William Burns said in April. Oh, this guy came in. He must know what he's talking about. We're obviously very concerned. I know President Biden is deeply concerned about avoiding a third world war, about avoiding a threshold in which, nuclear conflict becomes possible, Burns said. You know what? As of now, you, and I'm talking about these guys who sponsor Ukraine, you escalated the situation more than anybody else. That's what I think. When the Russians had to invade these guys because of the Russian population in the east being attacked by the Ukrainian army, I'm not going to go back to 2014 again with the overthrow of a legitimate government and so on. Then when these guys intervened, those guys started putting logs on the fire. Bam, bam, bam. And the logs were bigger and bigger and bigger and more numerous. So who escalated it? And if these guys are going to lose, the Russians, yeah, you bet they're going to hit you in the head with something. Because that's going to go with their nuclear weapons usage doctrine. and they will apply it. I guarantee you that. So yeah, you're right. Keep doing what you're doing and keep escalating, and you're gonna get that result. That's fine. That it seems like if you would be in their position, desperate, you might use it because you think Putin might use it, right? And probably he would. If he would be desperate, as you say, and that indeed would qualify as desperation, yeah, he might use it. Okay, so what's going to happen? You're going to get bombed, and then everybody else is going to go 5 steps back and say, hey, stop, we need to talk. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. So I hope nothing happens till then, but these guys are pushing and pushing and pushing and escalating until those guys say, okay, that's it. Next step is love, and there you're going to have it. I hope not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.